My neighbor threatened to call CPS because I told her to stop dumping her trash in my yard. I'm at my wit's end and need to get this off my chest. I live in a relatively quiet neighborhood, and for the most part, everyone keeps to themselves. It's the kind of place where you might nod to a neighbor while grabbing the morning paper, but generally leave each other alone. But recently, a new family moved in next door, and they've been nothing but trouble since day one. It's like they don't have a single ounce of respect for anyone around them. It started with little things, noisy parties that would go on until the early hours of the morning, keeping the entire street awake. They'd park their cars in front of my driveway, blocking me in when I needed to leave for work. Their dog would roam freely, pooping on my lawn without them ever bothering to clean it up. Annoying, sure, but I thought these were just minor inconveniences we could all deal with as neighbors. But then, things escalated. They started throwing their trash over the fence into my yard. At first, it was just small bags of garbage. I was irritated, but I figured maybe they were overwhelmed with the move and didn't realize what they were doing. But then it got worse. Bags of trash started piling up, and it wasn't just ordinary waste. I'm talking old furniture, broken appliances, and things that seemed like they'd been rotting for ages. The smell was unbearable. I asked them nicely, multiple times, to stop. I tried to be understanding, thinking maybe they just didn't have enough room in their bins or hadn't gotten used to the trash pickup schedule yet. Every time I approached them, they just laughed it off. They'd give me excuses, saying they didn't have enough room in their bins or that the trash collectors wouldn't take certain items. It was always something, and never once did they apologize. Last week, I had enough. I caught them red-handed, one of them hoisting a heavy bag over the fence while the other laughed. I marched over and told them straight up, "If you don't stop, I'm going to report you to the authorities." I thought that would end it. I mean, who wants to deal with the hassle of getting fined or worse? But instead, they turned it around on me. They made me out to be the villain. Yesterday, the mother came to my door, absolutely furious. She didn't even knock, just started banging like she was going to break it down. When I opened it, she launched into a tirade, yelling that I was harassing her family. She said if I didn't back off, she'd call Child Protective Services on me. She claimed I was creating a hostile environment for their kids. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Are you kidding me? She's the one dumping trash in my yard, and now she's threatening to get my kids taken away? It was like I'd stepped into some bizarre alternate reality where I was the bad guy for wanting a clean, peaceful home. I'm scared, angry, and honestly, just exhausted. My husband thinks we should just ignore them, hoping they'll eventually get bored and stop. But I can't keep living like this, walking on eggshells in my own home. I don't want to escalate things, but I'm also not going to let them bully us into silence. Every day feels like I'm preparing for battle, just waiting for the next thing they'll do. I've thought about calling the police, but I worry about how that might affect my kids or if it might provoke them even more. I feel like I'm stuck in a nightmare and don't know what to do. How do you deal with neighbors who have no respect for anyone? I'm at a loss. I can't imagine moving away from a house we've made into a home just because of them, but what choice do I have? I feel trapped, like no matter what I do, they'll just keep pushing and pushing. I wish there was an easy solution, but I'm starting to think that maybe the only way to get some peace is to fight fire with fire. But then, where does that leave us? Caught in a feud that could go on for years, with no end in sight. And I don't want that for my kids. They shouldn't have to grow up in a place where they feel unsafe or unwelcome. I just want a resolution, something that will bring back the quiet, peaceful life we had before they moved in. But I'm terrified of what they might do next if I take any more steps.